Remington with Hub City Home Inspection here. This is part 2, going down the Texas template. We're going to talk about roof coverings and roof structures and attics here. Obviously, roof coverings seems like the big deal that everyone's always, hey, how's the roof look? How's the roof look? Is it good? Is it insurable? Does it have hail damage? Obviously, we have lots of storms around here, or seasonal hail storms. And so I tell people, hey, if you're moving from somewhere else, we don't get 30 years out of a roof here. That's just, we have hailstorms regularly, and so it's very important to have your roof checked out for insurance purposes, obviously for leak purposes. But it's just not, you get a 30-year shingle, if you get 30 years out of it, it probably should have been changed at least once or twice since then. And then we'll talk about roof structures and attics, which in part is more important, even though we're always concerned about the roof. Because our roof structure, our framing structure, hey, how's it look up there? Is our framing separating? Do we have split boards? A split board versus lots of split boards? Are we pulling away from our main ridge? Does it look like our rafters are separating? Or we're not tied together well? So when looking at a roof, as long as I deem it safe, I get on a roof, walk it the best I can, and just looking for things like shingle overhang, usually manufacturer specs. Manufacturers usually want their shingle to overhang the edge, the drip edge. It can vary, 3/8, ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch. And that helps let water drip off properly. Even with a good drip edge, they usually still want that overhang. One of the first things I look at as well is when I'm on my ladder is the underlayment. And this is a tough thing, and it can be a big deal as far as negotiating or making clients nervous, and that's unfortunate, but it's very common. So when we have an eave, the flat spot across our roof line on the edge, we have our drip edge, and then our underlayment that sits under our shingle on an eave should sit on top of our drip edge. That way when water runs down, it gets under our shingle, because it will, gets under our shingle, it gets on top of that underlayment, and it runs off and out instead of being trapped, and then water gets under our drip edge and then it can get on our fascia. So that's on an eave, a straight run across the edge of a roof. When we're on a gable or our roof, the rake of the roof, we want our underlayment to sit on top, or we'll do it this way, on top of our drip edge. I'm sorry, on underneath our drip edge. I said that back, on underneath our drip edge. Because when water gets under that shingle and on that drip edge, we want it to get on top of that underlayment. So at a rake, the underlayment is under the drip edge, and at an eave, the underlayment is on top of the drip edge. So water gets in there between the shingle and the underlayment, and it runs down, and then it can run out of our shingle, out from under our shingle and off the edge of the roof. And this is a very common deficiency that I note, because normally if we have a roof that has a rake and like hip roof with eaves, they usually do the roof the same the whole way, which means one of those areas is going to be incorrect. It's either incorrect at the rake or it's incorrect at the eave. I usually tell people, unless we can just see that it's, hey, this is causing you an issue right now, which can be difficult to tell if it's not currently wet. But if it's not causing you an issue right now that we can tell, I used to say, hey, next time you get your roof replaced, ask them to do it properly then. It is a challenging fix. It's not something we just, tuck it under the drip edge or, pull it out. It's a little harder than that, because we've got nails in place, we've got shingles stuck in place, drip edge is nailed in place. And so it's not an easy fix, and so that's why it makes it hard as one of those deficiencies to call out, because it's not like, just go ahead and fix it and call it good. It's just not that simple. But it is incorrect. Like I said, my job is to call out things that are considered incorrect, not things that are easy to fix or things that may or may not be a big deal at the moment. So, and then once we're on the roof, we're looking for hail damage, damaged shingles where maybe the asphalt is showing, and a lot of loss of granules. When that asphalt, that tar is showing there, it will deteriorate from the UV rays over time, and as it splits and cracks, that allows moisture to get through, and that's when we possibly get leaks. We're looking at all the roof penetrations heaters, water heaters, plumbing pipes, all of that stuff, fireplaces, and trying to see, hey, are our boots in place? Are the collars in place? Are the rain caps in place? Okay, they're all in place. Are they sealed properly? Do the boots fit snug? Are the collars caulked? And is the rain cap fastened in place, not just going to blow off on the next windy day? Our roofs have thousands, thousands of nails in them. Are the nails covered? Are the nails that have to be exposed, are they covered with, are they covered with some form of a sealant to help that not being exposed to penetration? Nails are obviously tiny little holes, but I have seen small damp spots on ceilings inside, and the only thing you could find outside was exposed nails. And so it leads you to believe that, hey, this small amount of moisture on your roof after this big, or your ceiling after this large rain we just had, looks to be coming from an exposed nail. Water will get in any place that you'll allow an opening to be. So and that's a simple fix. Silicone caulking, roof tar, we just want to cover those nails up. And it's a maintenance item because the UV rays from the sun are going to deteriorate that. You cover them, you seal them, it's going to happen again. It may last as long until you get a new roof, depending on the hailstorms that come through, but we need to keep all those sealed up. So we're just looking for damaged shingles, looking at around the chimney. It's common to get leaks around chimneys. We want to make sure we can't tell the way they're doing it now, especially here in Lubbock. They're not making them flash on the exterior of these brick chimneys. They can flash underneath them, and the same with the masonite or siding. And so we don't get to see that flashing like we used to. But we want to, the best that we can, note, can we see flashing? Does it seem like it's in place? Do we see any reason we believe it's not in place? Is kind of more of what I would lean towards. Hey, we're seeing this, makes me think that flashing might not be there, or it might not be adequate. But usually issues like that are from improperly installed roofs, and depending on how old the house is, the house may have had a lot of roofs on it. So I know the biggest deal is it insurable? Because we don't want a client to purchase a home, their insurance agent or someone didn't come out and take a look at it maybe, and now they do, that they've purchased it, and they say, hey, your roof is not insurable. Usually if you're getting a mortgage, that's all taken care of beforehand. It's kind of hard to get by that, but there have been instances where people are stuck footing the bill for a new roof on the house they just purchased when, in fact, it should have been taken care of before they made the purchase. So another thing, we talked about trees earlier being too close to the house. That goes for our roofs also. We don't want our trees, our branches in these high windy days being able to rub on the roof shingles, on any other roof, but it's usually a bigger issue on shingles. It'll peel them back, it'll lift them, it'll wear granules off, and it'll make it to where they're more susceptible to leaks and expose the underlayment or the decking there. So we want to keep trees trimmed up that are near the house. Going into the roof, or the attic, looking at the underside of the roof and looking at our framing. When we're in there in the attic, I'm looking at insulation depth for, depending on, is it fiberglass, is it cellulose? That kind of gives us an idea, hey, are we 7-8 inches, are we 10 inches? Right now, as of this, when I'm recording this, Lubbock wants us 10 inches of fiberglass and around 8 inches of cellulose. Hey, is it foamed? If it's a foamed attic, we have a couple more notes, that just little FYIs we have with that. And so we're looking at, then after insulation, it's, hey, can I access the attic even? Is the insulation too deep? I don't personally make a new path. I don't trample down insulation. If there's a path for me to go, then I'll follow that path. Is the attic even, is the roof pitch high enough for me to even get in there? I wear knee pads and put a mask and headlamp on, and I'm happy to crawl through an attic if I can crawl through it. Sometimes it's like, hey, viewed from the access, couldn't pass through, just not enough space. Maybe ductwork's in the way, maybe it's just crazy truss system and there's just too much framing to get anywhere. There's just different reasons, but if at all possible, try to make my way through an attic. And we're looking for, hey, do we see any damaged lumber? Do we see a sign of something like a consistency? Hey, this side seems to be pulling away, or we're seeing cracked lumber down this side consistently, but not the other side, and what might cause that. We're not here to determine all the causes, but to note, hey, you have this deficiency, need maybe a framing specialist to go out, someone that you trust or and hey, why are we having this issue? Can you figure that out? And I try to steer. I've never recommended a structural engineer, not because I don't think they're necessary, but it's a scary thing. It's like, oh, this house needs a structural engineer. What is that? Like, why are we? What has to be wrong to need that? And it's usually not that big of a deal. You get a good framer. There's good framers out there, and they can say, here's why it's doing it, or here's how to fix it and prevent it from doing it again. We go into some old houses and see some newer lumber where you can tell they've braced things, they've made changes, and stuff seems to be holding up just fine. So we don't always need some engineer to get things done, but that's obviously up to you and your client of who you want to have take a look at it. We're looking at those penetrations that we saw on the side of the roof. We're looking at those as well. Hey, do we see any that stand out that don't go all the way through the roof, or they're loosely connected? Concerns like that. Is the dryer vent, while we're up there, is the dryer vent the right material? Does it look like it's leaking, or a lot of lint around it? Is it maybe clogged? Things like that. Does it go to its vent pipe at the roof line? Let's see. Looking at duct work while we're up there as much as we can. Does it look like it's connected? Modern standards want it to be ran as smooth and as straight as possible. Does it have lots of bends and kinks and excessive amount of duct work where it should be nicer and tighter? Remember, we're inspecting these houses based off today, 2026. And so we get these older houses and they just didn't run duct work the same way they do these days. And it's an inefficiency. It doesn't let air flow as well as it could. Underside of the roof, looking for water stains that may look newer or be a potential issue now. It's kind of difficult to tell if we don't have a rainy day what's new and what's old sometimes. But basically, when we get up there, we're just looking overall. Do we see anything out of the ordinary, or anything that looks like, hey, this was not originally designed to be this way, and now we see an issue. This lumber isn't fastened like it was, or this is cracked and it wouldn't have been that way. And do we think what kind of concern that may or may not be? So that's roof coverings, roof structures, and attics on the report. If you have any questions, Remington with Hub City Home Inspection, 806-786-6444.